Hey, good morning, Eastern Oregon, and welcome to this June 7th version of AM Live on EOA, your connection to Eastern Oregon. And glad you're here with me. I'm by myself this morning. Dodsey is on his way back to Eugene for the LHS Boys Baseball Championship. That's happening this afternoon at 4 o'clock. It was scheduled to happen on Saturday in the afternoon, and it was rained out. It was delayed because of weather. I have no idea why when they delayed it. They just knew that the weather was going to be bad on Sunday and Monday and picked Tuesday. I don't know. But anyhow, that's where Dodsey's on his way there. And so it's just you and me. And Donna Beverage is going to be joining us here in a few minutes. If you have any information about why the game was delayed so long, or if you want to jump into the comments, I'd love to hear from you and be able to interact with you and talk about how things are going. So we don't have a sports report today because Dodsey's on his way to do the sports. I think he is planning. So the OSAA has this strange thing to where students cannot play in games once they've graduated. And so then the graduation of the 12 seniors have been delayed. And so they're after the game today, and hopefully they will win. Then Dodsey also took the equipment to hopefully be able to successfully stream the graduation of those 12 seniors. So anyhow, so that's kind of the plan. We'll see how it all goes. He came back. I mean, I can't imagine the number of parents that were there for both teams that had made the trip. They had to go home and then come back. And that's exactly what Kyle did. He came back and then left this morning. He's probably on the road right now, getting ready for that game this afternoon. So anyhow, that's kind of the scoop, and I'm glad you're here with us today. Let's see, I was going to add the weather, but I can't. There we go. Beautiful day. Look at those clouds out there over the top of Mount Emily. This is from our weather cam downtown here in LeGrand, and it's just a beautiful day, and I think it's going to be a nice day here. Let's see what Gabe has for us.
Heading into the day on Tuesday, those temperatures will rise well into the 70s for much of us across the map, as we will see some cirrus clouds mixing in with that sunshine, making skies appear a little bit hazy, even more so down towards the far south, where we could turn cloudy by the time we hit the evening. Heading into the day on Tuesday for LeGrand, it does look like this. We'll start out into the mid-50s at 9 o'clock with lots of sunshine, and then we'll gradually see those high clouds increase, but continuing to mix with a decent amount of sunshine. Better chance to see a little bit more high cloudiness by the time we hit the evening hours as we rise those temperatures into the low to mid 70s. Easterly winds in the morning will turn to the southeast by the evening, gusting up to 20 miles per hour in spots, but overall fairly light winds across our region. Heading into my short-term forecast for the Grand Ronde Valley, tracking high of 73 for Tuesday, drop into the mid-50s overnight as we thicken up that cloud cover, bringing some spots of drizzle into the day on Wednesday, but we will stay comfortable into the low 70s.
There you go. Very cool. And I'll take just a minute to kind of brag about our team here. Gabe Curtis is our weather guy. He actually produces that entire program in his home studio out in Somerville. And we're very, very happy and proud of him. And then also Benny Welch is our senior producer at this point. He's the one who does the primary editing. He's also a full-time college student, and really appreciate Benny. And then Kyle Dodds, of course, does our sports for us. And then we have a lot of other variety of people. Can't forget to mention my wife. She works a full-time job, and then every day is down here for a couple of hours after a full day of work doing the books and keeping the ship right side up from the business side, and really appreciate what it is that she does. So good team. Got to tell you about something kind of cool and exciting. So this Monday night at 5:30, Monday night at 5:30, we're starting a new show. I mean, it's an old title. It's EO Talks, but it's going to be EO Talks Live. And Wade Twilliger and I will be hosting that show. It'll be a little bit more of a slower conversation about relevant topics that are going on in the world that are tied to what's happening here in Eastern Oregon. Really excited. That's going to be every other Monday night at 5:30. Really looking forward to being able to do that and have a little bit more of a slower, thoughtful conversation. Might not be the right thing for everybody, might not be your cup of tea, but it will be live. And so we'll be taking comments. You can be a part of the conversation. And we're looking for ways to just have conversations that are more significant for Eastern Oregon. So be sure and watch for those announcements. Watch for that. Lori McNeil, our Army recruiter, will be here with us. Let me see if I can find her graphic. She will be here with us on Thursday for the Thursday show. I can't find it. Anyhow, so she'll be here with us talking, and it'll be good to have her with us. And she is our local Army recruiter, and just a great person. And we're excited that to have that arrangement with them. All right. So Donna Beverage is going to be on here in just a minute, just right after this. Hey, Donna, how are you doing?
Good. How are you doing? I was just enjoying that beautiful video that you guys put together. It's beautiful.
Yeah. I take I take my drone with me wherever I'm, you know, it's one of the enjoyment things that I get to do. And so then whenever I'm out, and I'll take it and my
Video.
dear, yeah, my dear wife is used to now me like suddenly pulling the car over and saying, "Hey, can I please just shoot for a couple minutes?" You know, and so yeah, and so then after a year or two, it was like, you know, I think I could put something together that kind of encapsulates Eastern Oregon, you know, and there's a lot of stuff that we're missing, but
Oh,
man,
yeah.
when you look at something like that, it's like it reminds you of how beautiful.
How fortunate we are. Yeah, no, it's nice. And the music was good. And she just brings her book and she can read while you're out.
Yeah.
That's very nice. Beautiful.
That's exactly right. So, well, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Happy to look out my office window and see the sun shining today. Very thankful for the rain that we've had. It's a blessing. Never want to complain about rain. So thankful for that, but also nice to see, especially this week during the Eastern Oregon Livestock Show, some sunshine for the kids.
Yeah. And does it, the snowpack is a little different this year, I understand. So rather than, I mean, there's still quite a bit, am I right? There's still quite a bit of snow in the mountains that haven't melted yet?
We started out early in the year with like 100 or 110%, and then we went down to like 80, you know, and then with this rain and the cold weather, I believe we're up above 100% or more now. So it's good. It's not coming out quickly, even though we are complaining a little bit that it's not warmer, but in a lot of ways that I'm very thankful that it's not coming out quickly, so that, you know, maybe we'll have a good summer and good crops. And maybe be coming out of the drought right now, going back into a wet cycle.
Yeah. And how does that affect farming? You know, I mean, is this a good thing that it's delayed a little bit? And I mean, I know it not coming all at once is good. So, yeah.
No, absolutely. It's very good for farming. I mean, obviously, you know, if you hadn't planted yet, you can't get out in your field because it's probably too muddy, but most people have planted. Right. Yeah. And it's a blessing. All the farmers I talk to and you know, ranchers, they're very thankful for the moisture. So yeah, it's a blessing. You know, midsummer, you're trying to put up the hay or combine your wheat, and it starts pouring like this. You know, I mean, you take what you get, but in most cases, people don't complain about rain, so we're very thankful.
Yeah, Kyle and I were talking the other day about, you know, when like there's a hail or when something happens and a farmer does lose a crop, are they able to have insurance on that? Or, I mean, some crops you can have insurance on. For example, wheat, grass seed, that kind of thing. People can pay to get insurance. Hay, not normally. So, you know, I had to go to, well, I didn't have to. I went to my granddaughter's graduation in Utah last week, and a lot of hay down that had got rained on, because they're getting this rain clear, you know, several states. And there was a lot of rotten hay laying on the ground, hundreds of acres. Right. So, you know, it can be advantageous or not. But I think in most cases, they're still thankful because it just means they're going to get more cuttings. It's, you know, depends on the timing and everything, but in most cases, people are thankful to have this moisture, especially after a few years of drought. So yeah, well, good. Well, what's going on in the county, Donna?
Okay, well, we have a lot going on, believe it or not. So a few things that are coming up this week. So we have a commission meeting tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. And then tomorrow evening at 6 p.m., we have our Idaho border meeting. I might want to clarify a little bit about that. So a few years ago, the voters voted for the commission, the Union County Commissioners, to have a meeting 3 times a year to listen to what the public had to say about whether they wanted to move part of Oregon to Idaho. So basically, that's what it is. commissioners didn't make a decision. The voters didn't make a decision. But it was voted that we talk about it and look at options. And so we also heard from the people that 9 o'clock in the morning wasn't really conducive to everyone that, was working. And so that meeting will be at 6 p.m. tomorrow. Now, we always do have a call-in option, whether it's morning or evening, for those that, might be at the office and could take a break and call in or couldn't come in that day. So, yeah, so a few meetings going on tomorrow.
That's good. Now, are all your meetings in the evening now, or just this particular one?
Just this particular one, because it's one that it's pretty important that people can give their views, and because people asked us and said that it's inconvenient to be at 9 o'clock in the morning, so we're wanting to switch it up a little bit, and it's only every quarter, so yeah, so only this specific one. And like I said, we haven't had any issues with the other ones at 9 o'clock because we are going to stay hybrid. So even though people can come in person to our meetings too, they can also call in, which is kind of nice. So you have two different options.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's good. Now, and just to clarify, you guys are not taking a position on whether we should be a part of Idaho or not. You're just following what was voted for by the people, and you're filling that requirement to at least have a conversation about that.
Right. That's correct. That and then the public can come and talk about their pros and their cons, why, some people totally don't want it. Some people totally do want it. So bringing that to us, to have that conversation publicly is what that vote was about. No, we have not publicly took a stand. There's way too much involved right now. That would be really jumping the gun for us to do something like that.
Good. All righty. So what else?
So a few things coming up. We have what we're working on. It's called Senate Bill 2. And it's where the state of Oregon is allowing 2 counties a year to look at their industrial land and their commercial land and try to make it a simpler application to get more industrial and commercial land. And so our planner, Scott Hartel, and his crew are working on that. And so Union County is one of those 2 counties for this year. And we can get up to 40 acres in 10 different areas, rezoned. Our industrial park, we only have about 9 acres left. And so we're getting pretty small on industrial land. We have absolutely no commercial land in the county. And so we will be reviewing and looking at areas that we can change the zoning and hopefully be able to grow at a slow incremental rate, but have the land available when someone needs it. So that's something we're working on that's really important to me and our other commissioners.
So just a little bit explanation about that.
Yep.
So explain why you can only do that during certain times. And you said it's like Union County's turn. I mean, explain.
It's not even our turn. So this is something that just came up a couple of years ago. It's very difficult to rezone land. It's a long process. And a couple of years ago, the legislature came up with this Senate Bill 2. And 2 years ago, only 2 counties a year can do it. I put in for Union County last year in order for us to be able to do it this year. So it's not even like I don't even know how long Senate Bill 2 will last, but we were fortunate enough to be in this second round. It's to kind of simplify the process and allow to make it easier for us. So basically my presentation for that was that our industrial land is almost sold out, and that we started out with 60 acres when I became a commissioner 5 years ago, and we are down to 9. And we need to have a certain amount of industrial land available. So if a company needs to expand a local company or a new company that wants to come in, that we do have that land available. And then also talking to our planner, we have no commercial property. And so in the county, now different cities do. Part of this process is that our planner will be going to each city in Union County and talking to them about their zoning and the needs that we have in Union County, because we don't really want to compete with our cities. We want to work together with them. But at the same time, that is part of the process. So they are doing that now. And we only have a year actually to complete this whole process. So I'll give you an example. If someone came to us 5 years ago and they were had a business in Union County and they wanted to expand it, and we said, sorry, you can't do that because you don't have the correct zoning. Through this Senate Bill 2, we could possibly go say, hey, we could add 5 acres to what you're already doing and rezone that so that you can expand your business. And so it's pretty exciting for us, but we have a lot to look at, and we want to make sure that we cover all of Union County so that we're not favoring any areas or anything like that. We want to work with all the county, but we do have Anderson and Perry working with us too to help work through this process. So it's pretty exciting, but I don't know how long the money will be available. We were given $50,000 to do the process. And then, like I said, we have 1 year to complete it. So it's a big process, but I'm very excited about it for our county.
So I guess I'm kind of stuck on why don't counties have the ability to do that on their own already? And then why is like, okay, yeah, we're going to let 2 counties do it a year. I mean, I don't get the restriction. Yeah.
Other counties could be doing it. But this was but not every county will be allowed the $50,000. And then also the process is a lot longer. So the Senate bill is going to make it quicker. Any county could be working on it, but there's only a certain percentage of land you can have zoned in these different, in industrial and in commercial. So, or even a city, there's just a specific percentage. You can't go past that percentage. And so not every county would need the money. Maybe they already have plenty of industrial land.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And so the reason that, I put in for it is because our industrial land, our percentage had gone way down. Mm-hmm. So that's why one county may be looking at it where another one wouldn't, because one may be desperate for some for some rezoning, where another county might not be desperate for that rezoning.
So then the state has these guidelines essentially that says we don't want any of our land to be totally overrun with one kind of property or the other. And so then, yeah. Okay. Thank you.
And also I'm not positive, but I feel like before Senate Bill 2, when you rezoned, it kind of had to be all in one area. And the difference with Senate Bill 2 is it can be split into a few different areas.
So then you can
different areas.
Yeah. So then you can essentially serve different areas of Union County.
Specifically, yes. So if you have a specific need at a specific time, you could be, okay, we could add a few acres to that existing business that needs a little more.
Got it.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Yeah, that does. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So what else is going on, Donna?
Okay, so we might as well face some controversial things, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, why not? That's what we're here for. So Mira, we've had some complaints about the forest management up at Mount Emily Recreation Area, and we just want everyone to know that, hey, I love Mount Emily. I get calls every day of how wonderful it is. People are up there right now and telling me how beautiful it is. But remember, we're in the middle of this project, and we want to make sure that this is that we manage it. Part of our original agreement when it was purchased was that we manage the timber, and so projects in the middle sometimes look messy. but it's not completed yet. And so give us time to finish it and complete it, and then you will see that it's a good project. But it's also part of what our original agreement was. And it's also going to help with managing for fire if we ever have a fire. But just want you to know that the county cares about Mount Emily Recreation Area. It's beautiful. It's a wonderful place. We have many volunteers that we're so thankful for that help us with trails and just everything. There's just so many people that love it, and so many people that come into Union County and enjoy it. But just want you to know that we care about it, and that, you know, it's easy. You could walk around and you could hunt for something negative up there. And of course, in the middle of this project, you're going to see some things you don't like. But let us get that project finished and show you that it'll be a lot better when we get done, and that it really needs to be done as part of the original agreement and as part of managing. It's just like mowing your lawn, you know, and taking care of that. So we don't want it to end up burning, and that's happened to many other areas like that. So just give us some trust that, you know, we're not perfect, but we're doing what we feel is correct and right for all of our constituents.
So it's probably a little bit like a construction project where it's going to be a little bit messy. I mean, I think I saw a picture printed in the Observer, and you saw the tracks where the machines had gone in and removed the stuff, and none of that had been reclaimed. None of that had been fixed after the fact. Yeah.
And then if you think about all this rain that we've been having.
Right. Yeah.
So it's an unusual situation. So, I mean, of course, we could be complaining that it's too dry or whatever, but yeah, so give us time to get that project finished, and then we will do a public tour and take people on a walk. But let us get that project finished first. And we're not trying to hide anything. We're trying to make it better for our constituents.
Right. Well, and it seems like didn't you guys move up some of the harvesting while the ground was still frozen to lessen the impact? Yeah. Yeah. So
and working with all of the neighbors, and you know, widening the road where it was going to impact people that needed to travel that road. You know, like I said, we're doing everything we can, but you know, weather-wise and different things, it's going to be a while before we can complete that project. And then when that specific project gets done, well, then, you know, then we'll do the tour and we'll show you, you know, what we did. And like I said, nothing's ever perfect, but we want to do the best we can to take care of Mount Emily Recreation Area. It's one of our biggest assets in Union County. Yep.
Good. All right. Well, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Buffalo Peak Golf Course.
Yeah. And Dana he popped in today. So
okay.
All right.
Awesome. Good morning, Dana. So Dana's our manager out there. He has been super busy. I just drove out there last night and the parking lot was full. I guess the teachers in Union had their last hurrah for the year up at Buffalo Peak last night. But, you know, I mean, I'm not as good at talking about it as Dana would be, but he's got men's night, women's night, junior night. He's got tournaments all over the place. He's got awesome things in the pro shop to buy. And people are just using Buffalo Peak more than ever. And we're just feeling blessed. We have new carts up there. It's just a beautiful course, and it's whether you live in Union County or you're traveling through Union County, what a great asset for our county, along with Mount Emily Recreation Area. So if you're not a golfer, go out. They can give you some lessons and teach you. I don't know how to do it, but I don't want to do it.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Yeah. Dana's going to give Tanya and I some lessons.
Oh, and then another, and while we're talking about that, 4th of July this year is also going to be up at Buffalo Peak again, Thunder at the Peak. It's on a Monday, and I have Union Main Street. They started a new group, and so they're going to be working to do some vendors and that kind of thing downtown in Union on the 4th. So I believe starting at 4 p.m., on the 4th of July. Come to Union. There will be vendors and the restaurants will be open on Main Street. And then we also have search and rescue helping us that day. And of course, the sheriff's office and the Union police or Union Fire Station and City of Union, Union Chamber. We have a lot going on. So come out to Union. Spend the day in Union County that day. You know, go over to Imbler for the parade at noon and have lunch. They have a free lunch for everybody over at Imbler, and then go home, take a nap, and then come over to Union and watch the fireworks and enjoy the vendors. But let's celebrate the 4th of July.
Yeah. Awesome. Those are good activities.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Another thing I'm working on is, and I think I've talked about it before with you, is place-based water planning. And our highest priority is some kind of storage in Union County. And as I'm seeing all this water flowing down these rivers now, I'm like, oh, I would love to hold some of that back for later, you know. Yeah. Not only to help with maybe flooding now, but to help with the fish and the farming later on when things get dry. And so working with our group, it's been a big project. We're on the 6th year, but we're still having meetings. We got approval from Oregon Water Resources on our plan. And then now we have money for a feasibility for storage. So we're working with ODFW and the tribes and the farmers, and we are working together to identify areas where we can store water. And we've got quite a few areas identified. So we would love anybody that's interested in being part of that group to get a hold of me, because we're having meetings quarterly now and side meetings on the and we have Anderson and Perry working with us to identify these areas for storage. So that's pretty exciting. And I will be presenting. We're having an Eastern Oregon Economic Development Summit in Hermiston at the end of next week. So I will be meeting with other groups that are doing water planning, and also doing some tours of plans that have already been completed, and doing a presentation next week on that. So I am learning so much about water, but I want to make sure whatever projects we do that they help all users and harm none, which is not always easy. Right. But one project may help one user more than another, and that's okay with me as long as it doesn't harm any of the users. So that's my goal, and that's really one of the main things I'm working on right now. And I'm sure that will be a few more years that I'll be working. That's not a quick fix. So
right. Well, and you want to hear from those people that are not in favor of this, right? I mean,
absolutely, yeah.
I mean, and so if someone has negative feelings about this or whatever the case might be, now is the time to be a part of the conversation.
Or even someone that has ideas for us, like, well, what about this or what about that instead? Because I don't feel like there's anyone that doesn't want to make sure that all the water users have enough water, whether it's fish, farm, cities. I can't imagine anybody not wanting any of those people to have enough water, because that's our food and our recreation. But if they have ideas on, how we can do that, please come to the table. Please be there and be part of the solution, because, yes, we want to hear what everybody has to say about that. Absolutely. Yep.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Okay. I got my list here.
Good.
Sorry. Let's see. So Union County is just finishing their budget. So we have a budget meeting at the end of this month, and we have new budget members this year. We're very happy with them, and so it's pre-approved, but we'll be voting on that at the end of the month. And then also the county has put together a new committee for tourism dollars. And so we've had some people apply for those. We left it open for a month, and I believe it closed 2 days ago. And so we'll be having a meeting in a couple of weeks to. We have a nice committee with good representation from around the county. Some people from private business, and just all different representatives. And so we'll be looking at those TRT applications to see who we can award some of that money to. And then the 44th annual Union County Crop and Conservation Tour is coming up. So if anybody wants to know about conservation or agriculture in Union County, this is the opportunity for the public to come out, hop on a bus, and take a tour and ask questions. And you're going to learn so much. Even though I'm a rancher, when I go on this tour, I learn so much because, I don't do mint. I don't do, some of these other crops.
Yeah.
Or even, I believe this year they're going to North Powder area also. So even North Powder Basin is different than the Grand Ronde Basin. So take the day and go on this tour if you can, because you're going to learn a lot about Union County. And so we're meeting out in Island City at Nutrien, which is right there on Booth Lane. So you go out towards Imbler, past Boise Cascade, and it's right on the corner there. It's called Nutrien. And at 7 a.m., we're having coffee and donuts. Program starts at 7:30, and the buses will return back there at 2 p.m. that afternoon. So get the word out, and would love to have, buses and buses full of people. If you don't want to ride on a bus, you can follow in your car and then just get in and out of your car and follow the group. And there's a lunch, there's a free lunch there too. So
good.
Yeah.
Good. So Donna, let me go back for just a minute to the budgets, because I did have a question. So
sure.
Yeah, is there anything, is there anything that we can do budget wise to help with the drug problems that we're having, in the cities, in Union County? I don't know how much. Is there anything that we can do? Does money help that process? Yeah.
Yeah. Boy, I'm telling you, it's a tough one.
Yeah.
A lot of laws have changed in the last couple of years.
Right. I'm real familiar with all of them.
Yeah. And those laws have made it very difficult for law enforcement or even the CHD. There's not the consequences there used to be.
Right.
And, Measure 110, they made it sound really good, but it actually took a lot of money from areas that were helping people that, that have drug problems and that kind of thing. And so in a lot of ways, it's really hurt that. So it's taken away a lot of the tools that we had to help people with that. And I would really think that if you want to know a lot of the specifics on that, I would definitely get with CHD, probably talk to Carrie Bergiotti or someone from CHD, because, or even the sheriff's office, because the laws are what's really hurt us on that. And you're right, there is just so many drugs, and that fentanyl that's been added into everything, which is very deadly. So, even someone that knows better, and they take something, that they think is not going to hurt them, but then maybe fentanyl has been added to it and can kill them. And so you're right. I think it's a huge problem, and I don't know what the answer is. I don't see anything in our budget specific, but CHD, they're under the county, but they have their own budget. We only give about 3% of their budget from the county, and the rest comes from other. And I think a conversation with them would be really good. And I know they would share my frustrations.
Well, and I guess let me drill a little bit more specific, because part of, the way the laws have changed, it makes it difficult to prosecute anyone for drug dealing, or, it's just very but kind of what's happened is we have people that are selling drugs without any fear of all. And they have no fear. They're just, and so, I'm just wondering if there's some way that we can inconvenience them, I mean, we might not be able to arrest them, but I mean, it just, we just can't we just can't do nothing. I guess that's the thing. And I don't know if there's something, giving our sheriff's department more money. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out, is there a way that we can impact this, just make it less convenient for people to be selling drugs? Yeah.
I mean, I talked to our sheriff's department. I talked to our police department.
Yeah.
And, and you see it on the news that they don't have the teeth that they had. Right. So a lot of times, well, people can have so many drugs without, like you said, being arrested.
Right.
And people know the tricks. Okay. And so, so, if the police arrest them, but then they have to let them go the next day, these people catch on to that. And then they know they're not going to have any punishment. So, it's so frustrating. And it's frustrating when something comes to us as voters, and the way the wording's put together, it tricks us into thinking it's something that's going to be helpful when it's actually harmful, which is what 110 did. It looked great. A lot of people are like, yeah, great, let's help people that are on drugs. But that's not what it did. It took money away from that and put it in different areas. And so those are things that are frustrating. But I know our policemen are frustrated too, because we love these people. Right. I love it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I love all these people that are having these drug problems. But sometimes if there's no consequences to selling the drugs, right, well, then they're just going to keep coming. And if there's no consequences to that, then they're bringing them in and making them so available. And once somebody tries it one time, a lot of times they're hooked. And so that's hard for me.
Yeah, and I have compassion for someone who might be addicted to drugs. I do not have compassion for drug dealers.
I agree.
Yeah, I not
100%.
Yeah. I mean, I've been a proponent. I would love to, all of this cancel culture stuff that happens. I would love to see us have signs that say, this is the home of a drug pusher, and stand outside their home with signs. I mean, or follow them around to the grocery store, because
you're making a living killing other people, and that's not the way to make it.
And we just can't not do anything. And I would be happy to call them out publicly. Not happy to, but I mean, it's just, I have no compassion for people that are making a living selling drugs. None whatsoever.
Yeah. And, honestly, you could probably get me on my soapbox, and I could probably for an hour, way past even our local, but, state, federal, right. All the policies that we're having to deal with now. You could definitely get me on my soapbox, but it is heartbreaking. And, like I said, drug dealers have no sympathy at all. And we need to have some laws that our law enforcement can, use. But right now, a lot of those have been taken away. And that's not an excuse. That's really a fact.
Right. And and I've heard that. I know that's true. I've heard that from Cody. I've heard that from Chief Bell. I've had lots of conversations. And so I understand the ins and outs of it. But yeah. All right. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
So what is next, Donna? All right. Did we get to the end of your list yet?
Let's see here. There's a lot that, my other commissioners are working on. Commissioner Scarfo, he's always working with the hospital and working with CHD and all that. And he's got a lot going on in that area. Commissioner Andrus, he's working on forest projects. He's working on it's called the BIC, the Blue Mountain Intergovernmental. Anyway, working with the Forest Service and other counties, on a new Blue Mountain forest plan, basically. When I first became a commissioner, many of us went to Washington, D.C. It had been in the works for 15 years. Nobody wanted it. It was being forced on us. They hadn't even been out here to see what kind of forest issues we had. So we were able to go to Washington, D.C., built relationships, had them fly out here, take some tours, listen to public comment, and we're able to get that Blue Mountain Forest Plan thrown out. So Commissioner Andrus and a group of counties here are working on revamping that to put out a new forest plan for the Blue Mountains. But like I said, we've been pretty busy doing budgets the last month, but we'll be happy at the end of this month to have that done. So I'm very thankful for that. I would say, do you have any questions for me?
Not other than the one that I just asked. So yeah, no, and nobody is asking any in the comments. So
okay. Another thing that Eastern Oregon counties are working on, and we're part of that, is we're putting together a letter right now to say that we do not want the dams taken out of the Snake River, Columbia River. We don't want any dams taken out, and the reasons why. Right now they're talking about electric cars and all this kind of stuff, but at the same time saying, oh, let's take all the dams out. Oh, yeah. Well, how are you going to plug in your electric car if you don't have electricity, right? And I'm not against, wind, solar, all this other kind, but we need to have a combination of different sources. And the cleanest source of electricity is hydropower. And so if we care about the environment, then let's make sure that we keep those dams in. Let's make sure that we can use those to haul our grain to market. That we can, let's take care of the fish. Let's make sure that there's good fish passage through those. But I'm pretty old, and 50 years ago, when we had those dams, we had lots of salmon up Catherine Creek. So, there's other reasons they're not getting up here, but let's make sure that we don't take out those dams, because a lot of thought, a lot of, there was a lot of research done before they put those in, and a lot of reasons why they were put in, and let's don't throw that all away. Let's make sure that we don't reverse some and make some bad decisions.
Yeah. So you have a fan here. Hi, Grandma. Isaac. And
okay, that's my grandson. He goes to Eastern Oregon University.
Yeah, no, I met Isaac not too long ago. He helped the debate that Paul and Lisa Hill had. Yeah, I think they coordinated that. So
yeah, he's part of a group of students at the college that decided we needed to have a commissioner debate and put that together. So good job. Proud of them.
Yeah, they did a great job. So
yeah, nice to see young people coming up and caring about what's going on in the in the county and in the world. And I'm just excited to see that and see all those kids the night of the debate that we're all involved, and really appreciate that.
Well, and I agree. And I really appreciate, I know you and the other commissioners work as a team. I know all of you personally, and I brag about you because you guys are all very different. You just have different areas of expertise, and you have different personalities, but you are all incredibly thoughtful and serious and committed, and serious in the right manner. So
well, thank you. I think we do work good together. That we aren't always going to agree on things, but we work good together. I think we listen to each other. We all care about our constituents. But totally different from each other. But I think we're a good combination. And thank you for the compliment.
Yeah, you bet. Well, anything else, Donna, before we quit?
I can't think of anything else, but hey, thank you for asking me to come, and I'm happy to be on here anytime.
Well, and thanks for jumping on at the last minute. I texted you yesterday afternoon And I really appreciate you being flexible and jumping on today.
No problem. Good to talk with you.
All right. Thanks again. We'll talk soon.
Okay. Bye.
All right. All right. Well, cool. Well, thanks for being a part of that conversation. Those of you who jumped in, Isaac, thanks for embarrassing your grandma. I know she loves that. So again, Dodsey is not with me today because he's on his way to Eugene for the LeGrand High School Boys Baseball Championship that is this afternoon at 4 p.m. And after that, hopefully, if everything goes well, he will stream the graduation of the 12 seniors that are a part of that team. The seniors that are a part of that team, you can't be graduated and play in sports, high school sports, and so they have all had their graduation delayed. The rest of LHS graduation was on Saturday morning. So anyhow, so that's where Kyle is, and he'll be briefing us from that game. I know he's planning on doing some live updates here and there, and then also updating the score or updating that post of what the score is. So thanks a bunch for jumping in today. So, hey, I'm going to try and do what Kyle normally does, and that is on this day, June 7th, 2000. Let's say, wait, I went the wrong way. That's okay. We'll go this way. So in year 2000, Judge Thomas Penfield Jackson ordered the breakup of Microsoft Corporation. And then going into 1912, machine gun was first fired from a U.S. airplane for the first time, which is pretty funny. I mean, I think that the Bird Booth, I want to say Booth brothers. Who's the guys that the Wright brothers? There we go. The Wright brothers flew an airplane for the first time in Kitty Hawk, and I think that was in 1907. So just a few years later, somebody figured out, well, let's put a machine gun on an airplane, which is kind of I can understand why they would do that. 1912 was a few years before World War I. All righty. And then also we've made it to the 158th day of the year. There are 207 days left until we reach the new year. Can you believe it? It's not, a few more days, we're going to be halfway through the year. So, and then the quote of the day. Kyle normally does all this. It always seems impossible until it's done. Boy, isn't that the truth? The number of times that you have a task and it seems like we're never going to reach it. And all of a sudden, one time, it'll always comes together. So, hey, thanks so much for being here. Again, just to remind you, Thursday, Lori McNeil is going to be with us. And then also, we're starting a new show next Monday afternoon at 5:30. Wade Twilliger and I will be together right here on EO Talks Live. There'll be a live show that you can be a part of. Thanks a lot. We'll see you Thursday.